What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. You're a returning subscriber. As always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate support. Guys, listen, we've been covering the story of the past couple of weeks about a fallen member of Southern University, Caleb Wilson. He's also a band member. This guy died pledging Omega Psi Phi in a hazing incident. Now, more information has come out. Two more other people. We had spoke about this before. One person was in custody, said two other people may face charges. They both were arrested, and their names were given yesterday. And this story don't get no better after more details came out. I want you guys to take a look at this. We're going to come back and talk about it. Man, this is truly upsetting that, you know, this guy wanted to be a part of an organization, pledged to a fraternity, and tragically lost his life. And what the lawyer said really pissed me off for one of the defendants. But let's go into the story and see who did what and why they're in trouble. Take a look.
Good evening, team friends. Greg and Liz here with you. So we're going to start with what is a busy news day from the WFBI team. All suspects accused of the hazing of Southern University Omega Psi Phi fraternity pledges have now turned themselves in.
Our chief investigator, Chris Nakamoto, has been on top of this one since day one, exposing the initial lies that were reportedly told to investigators. Chris, what have you learned now?
Well, good evening, Liz and Greg. Details in newly released arrest documents show who is accused of hitting Caleb Wilson and goes into specific details about those who were there the night during that hazing ritual. It's what helped investigators get to the truth. Tonight, Caleb is no longer here, and the three young lives charged with hazing pledges are facing serious felony charges. Two of them ended up in handcuffs today, and only the WAFBI team was there as police hauled them away. Isaiah Smith didn't utter a word on his way to a waiting vehicle on his way to jail. This video filmed Tuesday morning after Smith turned himself in to the Violent Crimes Unit in Baton Rouge. Smith is facing felony hazing charges, accused of punching at least one of the pledges. Investigators noted Smith was known as the Dean of Pledges, and it was his car that was used to transport Caleb Wilson's unresponsive body to the hospital, where Wilson was pronounced dead. A court commissioner set his bond at $25,000 for criminal hazing, a felony. We then spoke to his attorney.
Up until this afternoon, we didn't know what the allegations were. We didn't know what, who's accused of doing what. And, in clear print, you can read the affidavit. I read the affidavit for the arrest warrant. In clear print, it's clear that he never made contact with Caleb. Now, that being said, this was a freak occurrence.
The hazing ritual came to light 2 weeks ago. Fraternity members initially reported that Wilson, a student at Southern University, collapsed at this park in Baton Rouge. That was a lie we first exposed. Instead, Wilson was actually at this warehouse, which was being leased by the father of Isaiah Smith.
Isaiah is terribly remorseful about this. This is nothing that anybody wanted. And I think we're still in a state of shock about what's going on. He's a student at Southern. He's a member of a fraternity. He loves the fraternity. He loves the pledges. He loved Caleb. So to be sure, remorse is an understatement.
Smith is among two others also implicated in the hazing. Kyle Thurman was captured by U.S. Marshals at this home in Port Allen Monday night. This is video of him as he was escorted from the West Baton Rouge jail back to the jurisdiction where the hazing occurred Tuesday morning. Warrants indicate the Southern pledges were broken up into two groups. Thurman allegedly punching the first group with boxing gloves. And this man, Caleb McCrae, allegedly punched the second group. Police say Caleb Wilson was in that second group. McCrae is facing the most serious of the charges, manslaughter, which could carry up to 40 years in prison if convicted, along with a felony hazing charge. Arrest warrants say McCrae is accused of punching Wilson 4 times, at which point Wilson collapsed. His lawyer asking the public not to rush to judgment.
People have a lot of opinions on this case, but there's still a lot of information and variables that are unknown at this time. And so when I ask people to hold off judgment, I'm just simply asking to just trust this criminal justice process, that as the case develops, there's more information we'll learn. And I know it's early to ask for any, empathy or sympathy toward my client, but his life is has been altered.
Philip Robinson says Caleb McCray is grieving tonight.
And he experienced a traumatic event himself. This is a tough situation all the way around. I am confident in my client's innocence. I do feel that my client will have an opportunity to defend himself and give his point of view.
The heartache of Caleb Wilson's death has two communities from Baton Rouge to New Orleans facing enormous grief, including at the Pilgrim Baptist Church in Kenner.
Caleb grew up in this church from a baby. He was baptized here, so he's been a member all of his life. As a matter of fact, his entire family, his father and his mother, grandfather, who was a former pastor of this church for 44 years.
Pastor Mitchell Stevens knew Caleb Wilson well and will be there when his life is remembered this weekend for the extraordinary things Wilson did in his short years on earth.
He played his trumpet many times when he was in from college. He would play for one of our worship services, but, you know, just seeing him around. So he was always at my house, or my son was at his house, so just missing the closeness of our families.
Southern is planning remembrances on Friday, followed by his funeral at Pilgrim Baptist Church in Kenner on Saturday. McCray is due back in court in May. Smith is due back in court in June. Right now, jail records show bond has been set at $25,000 for Kyle Thurman. Greg?
Okay, guys, you've seen that story, and it don't make it no better. It don't. You know, looking at these three young men up here, do I think they're bad people? No, but they did some bad shit, and they have to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Hazing is something that's been going on for a long time, and people get in trouble. This ain't the first time somebody died from this shit, and you would figure with these warnings that universities put out and these guidelines and stuff with these fraternities of what they know they can and can't do to stop the university from getting a lawsuit, you would think people would listen. But for some odd reason, there are a lot of people out here that feel as though if I went through it, you got to go through it. Or, hey, this will make you a man. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, for real. Do I have anything against sororities or fraternities? No, but I know it's some underhanded bullshit that these people got to go through just to be a part of a organization where they could wear the jacket and dance in public. You know what I'm saying? This is BS. This whole thing is BS, man. What did he have to prove? Then looking at Caleb, he's a small frame dude. Most Q dogs are big ass motherfuckers. The dude that beat him was a big dude, if you really paid attention. Let's go down the line with these three people. Said the dean of pledges was Isaiah Smith. Right? So I guess he was in charge of the whole damn thing. They used his father's warehouse, but lied and said they was in the park when this happened. Because why? He wanted to deflect it away from his dad's business. He probably wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. So he snuck and did that, used, you know, an advantage that he had where they could go to an isolated place and act the fool with these kids. That shit right there is a no-no. Number one, number two, he said he the one that took Caleb to the hospital. Let's go to Kyle Thurman. These two ones that was punching these dudes. And like, you know, I think they all should be charged with the same charges. Let me just say that real quick and we'll go back to it. We'll go to Kyle Thurman next. He was in charge of the punching the first group. He's the smaller one. He was captured by U.S. Marshals at his house, I guess, or at somebody's house in his neighborhood or wherever. You know, because, you know, it's spring break now, so ain't nobody in school. They captured him. He the one facing least charges, I guess, criminal, well, him and Isaiah Smith, criminal hazing. But the third dude, the biggest dude, now once you pay attention, Caleb McCray, which we did a story earlier last week on him, because he was the first one to be arrested. He's the one that was in charge of the second group. Caleb Wilson was in the second group. Now looking at the size of him and Caleb Wilson, they got to stand there and get punched in the stomach, and he hit him not just once, but 4 times. Then his dumbass lawyer up there, oh, don't be a rush to judgment. Did he punch him? Yeah, he did punch him. 4 times. Did he fall over? Yes. Did they change his clothes and take him out of his pledge clothes before they took him to the hospital? Yeah, it was a big cover-up. We're judging. put everything into this great justice system. The justice system shit. And so are you for trying to defend this shit. You shouldn't have made a statement if you was going to get on TV and sound stupid as hell. This whole thing is fucking unacceptable. It's unacceptable. How you got these young men wanting to be a part of your fraternity and you looking for the best of the best, trying to make a masterpiece in your fraternity when the canvas is just as ugly as the picture being painted? Let's keep it real, y'all. Let's keep it real. This whole thing is bullshit that should have never happened. Whatever happened to, doing the right thing? These motherfuckers was going to lie about the shit, and if they hadn't got caught and the story didn't add up, they would have ran with that shit. You think about that. You're the lawyer? Caleb McRae's lawyer? Oh, he's going through a lot right now. He's remorseful. I'm sure he is, because I don't think they meant to kill him. But you need to watch what you say, because it's a sensitive subject where a crime that shouldn't occurred, and you talking about your client, not to be empathetic or sympathetic towards him, but he's devastated as well, and his life has been altered. Caleb McRae ain't got no fucking life. So ain't nobody trying to hear all that bullshit. You can miss me with all of that and everybody else. This barbaric bullshit and bravado done brought negative press to a HBCU. Who fault is that? Who fault is that? The thing that bothers me about this whole thing, and I'm gonna wrap up saying this, is one, it didn't have to happen. Two, what does beating somebody have something to do with a lifetime commitment of brotherhood? Why do you have to be beat to be a part of something? The fuck is that? See, I'm gonna tell you something. Me, I'm one of them people where I analyze stuff and then I judge whether it's worth my time or not, depending on what I gotta go through to achieve said goal. If a lot of young people really thought about that, and I know it's hard because you want something so bad sometimes that you'll sacrifice a lot to just be a part of something or to achieve something. See, it's one thing about men a lot of people don't understand. A lot of us go through struggles to achieve things, whether it's the military, an objective, or whatever. But at the end, when we achieve said objective with others that went through the same thing as us, sometimes, or most of the times, we look at it like, I wouldn't trade this moment for anything else. This is very upsetting, y'all, that this guy died. He meant a lot to a lot of people. You've seen his family crying. They was marching. They was doing all kind of stuff. This guy mattered, just like the guys that did this mattered. But the thing that's funny, wisdom comes with age. And that's the big disconnect between older people and younger people, to where stuff just stays messed up. This guy should still be here. Him, 20 years old. People loved him like they love these people. And they should have just, this whole thing bothers me, man. I'm gonna just end it at that. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I know the family of Caleb Wilson is devastated. And I'm more than sure the family of these three other dudes are devastated because it shouldn't have happened. But I mean, come on, man. What are we doing here? I'll see you in the next video. Take care.